we've I feel like maybe we kind of beat the story of God hardening Pharaoh's heart to death, but I think it's kind of important. We didn't beat it to death, good, because we're going to hammer on it a little more. But it's hard to understand how God could harden someone's heart, and that's the way it's worded in Exodus. And I think studying these scriptures and studying stuff around it helps us understand the nature of God and how He does and does not work in our lives. And so we've already gone over. We've covered some stuff in Revelation that alluded to Satan and how he fell from grace or from heaven. And we looked at Ezekiel 28 about something that alludes to Satan as well, but it's talking to a king of Tyre that God put in power, and he got to admiring his own splendor, right? I think there's a word for that. What? And we all fight that. What's that word that would describe when you're admiring your own splendor, or you're set in your ways like Pharaoh was, and you won't change what you're doing, and you harden your heart? It's right? Is it? Oh, pride. Yeah, I heard you the first time. Pride. Yeah, right. Stubborn. Yeah, we'd conceit. Those are all similar things. Pride, conceit, stubbornness, and we had a really good definition of stubbornness. It's what is it? Clay read it the other day. It's a willful negligence to change your actions, even though you know you're wrong, or even though you've been told you're wrong, right? I think that's it. Somebody may want to, fact. Yes, 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 yeah.
Even from the study that we've been doing, the weeks I teach, we've been studying how God left Saul.
Okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And it was when God turned his back on Saul.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, the action itself was immediate.
Yeah.
But it wasn't from one particular thing he did. There was a whole line of things he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then God says, I'm done with it.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah, and we're going to go that direction. I think once we beat Pharaoh up, or Exodus, some stuff around there a little more, but that's kind of another direction we're heading. And it's a common theme in the Bible when you see someone who God puts in a position, God puts in a place, maybe a high position, and they do just that. They get pride, they get selfishness, they get what were the other words we were throwing out there? Conceit, self-absorption, yes, all those things. And we've also looked at Philippians chapter 2 with the character of Jesus and how that contrasted Satan's character. I mean, it's complete opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Oh, and we said stubbornness right there too, right? Those all mix into it. And just throw two different phrases out there, right? Stubborn pride as opposed to stubborn faith. The stubborn faith, is that almost an oxymoron? Steadfast faith, okay, all right. What is stubborn pride is just what we've been talking about, where people will not, or someone will not change their actions in the face of knowing, and it's evident that they're wrong. It's willful and wanton negligence. Joe? Who did? Pharaoh did think he was God, correct, yeah. He sure will. He sure will. Absolutely. True, true. Okay, so we've looked at the antagonist of the Exodus story, right? So let's look at some of the protagonists of Exodus. So who'd that be? Must be Moses? Okay. So the beginning of Moses coming into this, right? Where did Moses come into the picture? God appointed him? Where did that happen?
When Jochebed and when they were humble before God and walked before God, and
Was that the burning bush part? Or was it before then?
that was before the river.
Okay. Wait a minute. Before the river part.
Yeah, from the time he was born.
Oh.
I don't remember exactly what it says, but he was special and he was
Okay.
set apart.
So Moses' birth, there were some scary things around the time of his birth, right? And so his mama, afraid for his life, put him in the Nile River, hoping to save him, because Pharaoh, I don't know if it's the same Pharaoh as later, but Pharaoh had gotten wind that there's somebody's going to deliver Israel, right? Something to that effect. And so she,
Well, either she had extreme faith, or she decided that his chances were better than zero.
yeah,
And if she kept it, his chances were zero.
yeah, okay.
And he was going to kill all the male babies under 2 years. I might be thinking of the spirit, but he was going to kill all the male babies, I believe, because they were kind of getting word that maybe not.
Let's look at this. Let's find this.
Because they think the Jews were going to take over the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Israel multiplies in Egypt there, burning bush. Oh, okay, the birth of Moses, chapter 2. Now a man from the house of Levi went and married a daughter of Levi. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that she was beautiful, she hid him for 3 months. But when she could hide him no longer, she got him a wicker basket. Why is she hiding him? Okay, well, we'll back up to 1 and 15. The king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives. Oh, what's going on there? Verse 8 in chapter 1. Now a new king arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph. He said to his people, behold, again, we're in chapter 1 of Exodus, verse 8, who did not know Joseph. He said to his people, behold, the people of the sons of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them, or else they will multiply. And in the event of a war, they will also join themselves to those who hate us and fight against us and depart from the land. So they appointed taskmasters over them to afflict them with hard labor, and they built for Pharaoh storage cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied, and the more they spread out, so that they were in dread of the sons of Israel. The videos that Todd's been showing on Wednesday nights has shown some of this stuff. It's shown the encampments of the Israelites that are outside of the capital cities of Egypt. So, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied, the more they spread out, so that they were in dread of the sons of Israel. I don't know which Pharaoh this is, but what does this sound like? He's afraid of somebody that's going to take him out of power, and so he's going to oppress them. He didn't know Joseph, what does that mean?
But he was probably 2 generations off of the one that.
Well,
No, not.
we're talking,
About 400 years.
yeah.
Off the one that thought highly of Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently up to that point, that the legend had it that Joseph had saved the country of Egypt. Therefore, they held him in some point of reverence, but that had faded over 400 years.
Right.
And so he didn't know or respect the contribution Joseph had made.
The Egyptians kept impeccable records, saying that he didn't know about Joseph.
Yeah.
It's a little iffy.
Oh.
The know is he didn't have a working relationship with those people.
Right. He didn't have a care or concern. He didn't care to read the record to look at what Joseph did. He didn't know the people. Okay. That's a valid point. All right, verse 13. The Egyptians compelled the sons of Israel to labor rigorously, and they made their lives bitter with hard labor in mortar and bricks, and all kinds of labor in the field, and their labors which they rigorously imposed on them. Then the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was named Shiphrah, and the other was named Puah. And he said, when you are helping the Hebrew women to give birth, and see them upon the birth stool, if it is a son, then you shall put him to death. But if it is a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God, and did not do as the king had commanded them, but let the boys live. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, why have you done this thing, and let the boys live? The midwives said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are vigorous and give birth before the midwife can get to them. So God was good to the midwives, and the people multiplied, and they became very mighty. Because the midwives feared God, he established households for them. Then Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying, every son who is born you are to cast into the Nile, and every daughter you are to keep alive. Oh, so Moses' mama was maybe kind of following the law.
Basically, in more modern day times, it's like Hitler trying to eliminate the Jews. They didn't want them around. They like women, okay, but we don't want these guys. They can take us over.
Yep.
And the Jews that Hitler were, first off, they weren't of the white race,
Right.
Aryan race, and set that off. He didn't want anybody but Aryan in Germany.
Right.
He was white supremacist. And he didn't like Jews.
Yeah.
He didn't like God. So they did it.
True.
And once again, the Jews in Germany still believed in a God, in the God.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, he couldn't be their God.
That's right.
And that's kind of what Hitler was going for. He wanted to be the supreme leader, and he conditioned a whole generation of Germans to worship the motherland.
And that's
Okay, so that's steering their worship towards something physical, not something of deity.
worship and ethnicity.
And so the Jews were still worshiping the God,
Yep.
no matter how diluted or different it was.
Sure.
So he knew he couldn't win their hearts and minds. And that's any dictator or leader that gets self-absorbed and wants total control, they can't have religion get muddy in the water.
Right. This is true. This is true. Hitler's attitude sounds a lot like Pharaoh, right? Now they may have different goals and different means of their and methods, but it's a similar attitude. It's a prideful, conceited, and selfish attitude. Chapter 2, now a man from Israel, from the house of Levi, went and married a daughter of Levi. The woman conceived and bore a son, and she saw that he was beautiful. She hid him for 3 months. But when she could hide him no longer, she got him a wicker basket and covered it with tar and pitch. Then she put the child into it and set it among the reeds of the banks of the Nile River. Her sister stood at a distance to find out what would happen to him. Sounds like there's some forethought here, right? There's some planning in this. Sister's helping.
Speaking of the pre-planning, one other thing that we've lost sight of is Genesis chapter 15,
Okay.
verse 12, and following, when God is renewing his covenant with Abram before he became Abraham. As the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell on Abram. Behold, a dreadful and great darkness fell on him. Then the Lord said to Abram, know for certain that your offspring will be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and will be servants there, and they will be afflicted for 400 years. But I will bring judgment on the nation they serve, and afterward they shall come out with great possessions, etc. So there was foreplanning and foreknowledge from way back then. And you know, it's not accident, not coincidence. So
Okay. Yeah, there's a plan. God has a plan here. And we'll see characters that are willing and submissive participants to God's plan. And then those are protagonists. antagonists are opposed to God's plan. They act contrary to God's plan. And Randy, you may be able to help me remember this. They're prideful, right? So there's people that are submissive and willing to participate in God's plan. Let's say they're humble. And then there's prideful people who are opposed to God's plan. And what does God do with those two types of people? What does he do with the proud? I think it's Proverbs. He what? Okay, what's the Proverbs say? Or is it Psalms? Oh, where did Peter get that? Is it? Okay. God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble. Right? Chills. That should give you chills. Two ways.
For a rabbit chase, I'll argue that Paul was a proud man. They're not, there's no apostle Paul.
Okay.
But if you're proud, being proud is not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just how you use the pride.
Mhm.
We're all not proud to be Christians.
I can,
My prayer,
yeah.
just the way you
Did you say something about chasing a rabbit, Brad? No. But yeah,
that pride is like any other thing.
absolutely.
It's how we use it.
Pride, where your pride lies.
It's what? It's good and it's bad.
As your pride is in yourself,
You're in trouble.
Right.
Like I say, Paul was a proud man, but Philippians and Corinthians, and I believe probably different other places.
but where did Paul's,
Paul says that he was proud of what God had done for him.
okay, he will not boast.
So pride in itself is not that.
He could boast of his own things, but what did he say about everything? What,
He said, it's not what I do, but what God does through me.
right?
It's not, he never took ownership of the things he did. It's all God's will and God's plan.
Count. What did Paul say? Something. I count all things as
Lost
law.
as rubbish.
Okay. Where's that at?
Philippians 2,
Is it?
you want to bet?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go there. Maybe that is a a well-directed pride, right? If you consider all things but lost. Philippians 2.
I believe 2 is about verse 8, maybe 9, somewhere 7. We studied it Wednesday night, remember?
Oh yeah. I was in the wrong chapter. Being found in appearance of man. No, that's
No, 3, I mean.
okay. Okay, there we go. We found it. It's right there in 8. Let's start at 7. But whatever things were gained to me, those things I have counted as loss for the sake of Christ. More than that, I count all things to be lost in view of the surpassing value of knowing Christ is my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things and count them but rubbish, so that I may gain Christ. Holy smokes. That should chill us. That should send chills down your spine. And that's what we're talking about. Where he puts value in things. Where his pride lies. Right? He considers everything a loss as long as he can gain Christ. Right? He's fine with losing everything to gain Christ. What?
Well, in 2 or 3 instances in Jesus' ministry,
Yeah.
you see evidence of that either happening or not happening.
We can see it all through the Old Testament.
Young ruler came to him and told him he had honored his father and mother all his life. He had died, he had done this, he had done that. What must I have to gain eternal life? He said, walk away from it. And the ruler and the
Rich young
man
ruler
was
couldn't.
sad.
Yeah. He left sad. He was.
But you
Ooh.
look back at the apostles,
Mm-hmm.
when he told them to throw the net scabbard off the boat and jump off in.
Dropped it like a box of hot
They
rocks.
didn't have the riches the young men had, but that was their livelihood.
Okay.
There's examples of both happening.
Yep. Okay.
Responses to that.
All right. Let's jump back to Moses. All right. We know the story. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's house, saw his people being mistreated. Did Moses sin? What? Well, yeah, Moses sinned. Did Moses sin at this point? He saw his people being mistreated. He saw the slave masters whipping a slave. And what did he do to that slave master? And killed him and did what? Hit him. That's malice aforethought. Okay. Okay. Is Moses submitting to God's plan at that point? In his mind. Well, so did Paul thought he was submitting to God's plan, killing Christians, right? Saul, yeah.
Especially if Moses had heard the promise that had been made to Abraham back then, who was counting years ago.
Okay.
And now I'm in a spot to help. This is God's, God's going to put me here.
Okay.
So, and I think that the lesson there for me is not to run ahead of God, because it's real easy to say, oh, I'm here for this purpose at this time. I need to do something.
He was doing God's plan on his terms. Does that work out?
Yes.
Doing God's plan on your terms works out?
No, it doesn't work. That's why he
Oh, okay. He thought he was
had
doing.
it figured out.
Okay.
His way, so
That's called running ahead of God, right? Okay, but when you do God's plan on his terms, not your terms, then
so much harder.
oh, it's so much harder. So much easier in the end, though, right? What does that show us, though? That shows us that Moses can be a dangerous man. Moses is capable of violence.
So he does have a temper.
Who doesn't have a temper in here? I mean,
Do we have a temper to the point of murder?
oh, I hope not. I would hope not, right? Okay.
You had never wanted somebody?
Why is it?
Same as murder.
Oof,
Now we've all been killed through that.
I'm leaving. No, okay.
We might not have done it, but we thought.
Joe?
I think Moses, this is just me, because when God came to Moses wanting him to lead the people, he was like, well, I'm not a good speaker, trying to get out of it.
Well, you're jumping ahead.
I think a lot of it is Moses' nature. Like you said, he had a temper. He saw somebody put that up on this guy, his race, and he was brutally hurting him, and he knew it wasn't right. And I don't know, maybe Moses didn't mean it too hard. Maybe he didn't mean to kill him, but he killed him. But it could be just,
I don't know. Did I say Moses had a temper? I know. I said he was capable of violence and could be a dangerous man. But are they that capable? Are they proficient? Yeah. Okay.
But remember Moses' training. He was brought up as an Egyptian ruler. He had the best skills, the best education, the best in fighting, because a ruler was the leader of their war machine.
This is important.
So Moses had the training to kill someone.
Moses could be proficient in violence.
No, he was trained in it. I mean,
Okay.
and he had the authority because he
He didn't have the authority to commit murder, but he had a high place. Okay. Okay. All right. This is all important because we have other people who are placed in a high position later on that are also capable of violence. Saul killed his thousands. David his tens of thousands. Right? David was capable and proficient.
But that was even hung on him when he had killed one.
Okay.
That saying happened right after he killed the last.
Right. But we're talking about two different plans here, right? Okay. God has no. Okay. So why is it okay for David to kill his tens of thousands and Moses?
It's mandated by God.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that whole running ahead of God.
Two different parts of God's plan. Let's say that.
Why did Saul get in so much trouble for not killing?
Yeah, he wasn't.
Guys ended up knocking him out the rear
Okay.
because he let him live, and God had told him to
Right.
kill every.
There's some directives there. Okay. David was not directed to take control and kill for God's plan.
Even after Moses.
I'm sorry, Moses.
Even after Moses killed the Egyptian, God still had a plan for him.
Okay. Okay. If Moses kept killing, would
If our God can tell Abram 400 years, or probably closer to 5 or 6,
Yeah.
100 years before that he would lead them out of bondage, then we have a God that knew what Moses was going to do and how the plan he had for after that.
backing up 400 years, did God say, I'm going to provide someone who's going to kill Israel's way out of Egypt? No. Who's
And if he knew 400 years ahead that he was going to provide a man to lead them out of
did he say that though? Or did he say, I will deliver?
Well, it's all about his plans, not about ours.
It's not about Moses' plan. It's not necessarily about Moses' part in his plan. It's about God doing what he said he's going to do 400 years ago.
40 years that Moses to get done his plan.
Okay.
40 years that Moses spent in exile.
Right.
Did that not prepare him somewhat for the job he had coming up?
Okay. This is,
He knew people in the wilderness where they were going.
Okay.
He had connections.
Uh-huh.
And he was set apart. He wasn't just picked out of the congregation of Hebrews.
Okay. He was set there.
He was set apart.
Okay.
And that 40 years was used to God's advantage.
But could he not have used 4 years to build up an army and was he not trained in violence? Could he not have just tried to overtake Egypt?
Due to that murder, no, he couldn't.
That wasn't the plan.
Okay, that's not the plan. Okay. This 4 years is important. This tells us everything we need to know about Moses. Okay? Because Moses could have started a war. I mean, he's in Pharaoh's house. He could have opposed Pharaoh. He's had the training. He has people in that country that he could turn. But God had a different plan.
Moses didn't even know he was that guy.
He didn't know till
Okay, but he knew something. He knows God has a plan for him. Why? There's a direction Moses needs to go, though. He needs to get to know God and to know his plan. And those 4 years were important for him to know God's plan. Okay? There's a change between Moses that killed the slave master and Moses that's leading people out of Egypt. Right? So, let's go to Numbers 12 and 3. Let's just start in verse 1. The murmuring of Miriam and Aaron is who are these people?
Brother, sister, Moses.
Okay. Have these people played a part in the Exodus? Did they not speak for and help Moses in his role? Chapter 12, verse 1. Then Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman who he had married, for he had married a Cushite woman. And they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us as well? And the Lord heard it. What does this sound like?
Jealousy.
Ooh. What goes with jealousy? All the above. Pride, prejudice, conceit, stubbornness. Conceit, yeah, I said that. Has he not spoken through us as well? And the Lord heard it. Now the man, Moses, was very humble, more than any man who was on the face of the earth. What? Okay, is there any other version that say something else?
mine just says proof that sees that Moses was very humble more than any other man on the face of the earth. It's just an add-on.
That's not just an add-on. If you... Oh, wait.
I think it should be inside exclamation points. But he spent 40 years being a shepherd servant of who became his father-in-law.
Does anybody else's version of the Bible say any other words than what Joe said or what
Well, I don't know why.
the parentheses?
It's a verse. I don't know why it's in parentheses.
I understand. Yeah, I don't know. Now the man Moses was very humble, more than any man who was on the face of the earth. Okay? what goes with being humble? What are some synonyms for humility? You said meek? What version of the Bible says meek?
Humble to be a follower.
Yeah. I think there's one of the versions of the Bible that uses the term meek. But meek, humble, humility, lowly. What's that? King James Version says meek. Okay. How can we describe or define or paint a picture of meekness?
Usually when we think of meek, at least me, in today's terms, is someone that wouldn't stand up for themselves or wouldn't take a stand. And might be that I'm thinking wrong. It could very well be humble or a follower or something.
In earthly terms, we confuse meek with weak.
Okay.
Jesus was meek and mild and gentle.
Yeah.
Was Jesus weak? By no means.
No.
He did not. Yeah, he took a beating.
Right.
He carried a cross. He got up on it.
Okay.
Does that mean he was weak?
Nope.
Thank goodness he did that.
Okay.
Without beating to death, he could still carry it for a while.
True. Let's think of, we talked about Moses being capable of violence, right? He was proficient. He was trained. He was capable of possibly even leading a great army, of leading a revolt, taking the Israelites, the Hebrews, and turning them against Pharaoh and taking over Egypt. Was that God's plan? No. But he was capable. What kept him from doing that? His humility. He was the most humble person on the... Wow. How would you like to go down in God's Word, documented as the most humble person? What did it say?
All men on earth.
On the face of the earth.
It's no coincidence that later in the Bible it says that there's never been anyone else like Moses who spoke with God face to face. And that humility is what allowed that. I'm thinking, for example, when God was tired of the Israelites and they're whining and they're complaining and they're backsliding, and he said, I'm going to wipe them all out, Moses, scoot back, I'm going to wipe them out, I'm going to turn you into a great nation.
Right.
And instead of Moses saying, all right, he said, no, God, please don't. Or all the other nations will say, oh.
Is humility synonymous with cowardice? No. Is meekness synonymous with weakness?
If you look this same verse up in the Amplified Bible,
Okay.
inside the parentheses, there's another set of parentheses. But it says, now the man Moses is very humble. And in the inside parentheses says, gentle, kind, devoid of self-righteousness.
That's a big one. Devoid of self-righteousness. Okay. So there's a definition out there that for meekness, and maybe it applies to humility as well, but that means that it is strength under control. Someone who is capable of being dangerous or powerful, but they keep it under control. And this is what we see in the protagonists of God's plan versus the antagonists in these stories. Is they're not letting God's plan work through them or what they think their power is. They're letting God's plan work through God, letting God work their plan through them. And so where Moses was capable of violence, was proficient and trained, he kept it under control. He took 4 years in the desert with Midian, was it? Yeah, he went to Midian. Took those 4 years and humbly used it as an opportunity to grow close to God, to know God and let his will work through him. Sure, there were some amazing things that happened there. I mean, if you go out in the desert and you come up on a burning bush that doesn't consume and it starts speaking to you, say, hey, take off your shoes. I mean, if a bush is burning up in the desert and it tells me to take off my shoes, I may ask some questions before I take off. What's, you know, because I don't understand what's going on. But there's some miraculous things that go on that maybe helped Moses with his humility, right? If there's a booming voice that tells you, take off your shoes because you're standing on holy ground. If you see those kinds of things, yes, that could be humbling. But being capable of being a dangerous person or a powerful person and keeping that under control is the definition of meekness and humility. And we can take that and look at the cross. We sing a song about this because we know that we sing that Jesus could have called 10,000 angels to destroy the earth for you and me. But he died alone. Right? Because that was God's plan. Jesus was capable of destroying the earth. He was capable of judgment right then and there. He was capable and powerful enough to do that. All authority has been given to him. He had the authority. But he was meek enough to let God's plan work.
Also, that time that he was in the wilderness, or maybe was a time of maturity.
Yeah.
God could have had,
Absolutely.
in the desert, go get his people out.
Absolutely. So, we hammered on Pharaoh, the antagonist, the pride, the stubbornness, the arrogance. What were the other words? Conceited. Okay. And then we're looking at the protagonists that goes the humility, the meekness, what are the words that you just used in that parentheses in the parentheses?
Meekness is a deliberate choice to restrain strength, rights, and restrictions for the sake of others and God.
Absolutely.
Be meek is a choice.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Is what? Yeah, egotistical. That plays into the bad guy side. So, application. How do we apply that in our lives? Yes. Do we want our way? Do we want things to work out the way we want them? Do we have the capability of forcing our will on the outcome of things that we are involved in?
Solomon says, don't be wise in your own eyes.
Brad, what are you looking at me like that for? Okay. You crossed your legs and looked at me. Okay.
Sometimes we think we can.
Sometimes we think we can. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's conceited. That's
They work out just exactly like we had planned.
yeah.
Therefore, we think we had.
Oh, that just adds to our conceit, right? Well, it's time to go. Okay, it was a very good discussion. Thank y'all for that. Think how we can be meek and humble in this church. What's that? I may be